Yo, what's up guys? You got PokeaimMD here with another competitive Pokemon Sun and Moon moveset video, how to use, guide, whatever you want to call it. This time we're going to be talking about Lycanroc Midday Form. This is the Pokemon that you evolve your Rockruff into in Pokemon Sun. And it's a really cool Pokemon, the fact that it has base 115 attack as well as base 112 speed and is pure Rock. Rock is such great stab. Offensively, Rock hits so hard on pretty much everything. Obviously steel, ground, tank it, just to name some mons, but in any case, it has a really solid ability in Sand Rush, which doubles its speed under sand. So right off the bat, you can tell that you can use this Pokemon on sand teams just to abuse that. The fact that its base 112 speed is actually really cool as well, because it allows it to outspeed Pokemon like Latios and threaten it with its strong stab attack. As well as it's the first Pokemon to have a rock priority move, being Accelerock. Now, we have a few sets here. They're sort of similar because I think there's really one way to use this type of Lycanroc, or typically when you go through its moveset, there's actually not much that it can run. It's a little bit too frail to use bulk up. And outside of that, it really doesn't have very many options, at least on this side. But the set we have right here is the Life Orb Sand Rush Abuser. Now, you don't necessarily have to have this on a Sandstorm team, but if you do, typically you'll pair it with something like Tyranitar for Sandstream, Hippowdon as well. There's also Gigalith, which now has Sandstream, and I've actually been testing Gigalith plus Lycanroc, and I'll actually also be having a showdown live featuring that later today. So obviously, subscribe if you want to check that out. But first off, we have the 4 attacks mon. Now, this is just Accelerock, Stone Edge, Sucker Punch, or Fire Fang. Pretty much you don't have to boost up if you don't want to, just because it has strong stab, Stone Edge, and Accelerock is there just to pick off faster Pokemon, or something like Thundurus that might Thunder Wave you, or just a weaker Pokemon with priority attacks. Whereas Sucker Punch is also pretty nice because it allows you to have an accurate attack versus Pokemon like Latios, as well as the fact that Aegislash, if a King Shield, Sucker Punch does not touch it, but then at +2, you can smack Aegislash with Sucker Punch. And then Fire Fang is the last move because that allows you to hit Skarmory for a more accurate move than Stone Edge, as well as mainly Scizor and Ferrothorn. Another Pokemon that I would pack Lycanroc with would be like maybe Magnezone or Magneton to be able to trap Skarmory and Scizor. And what that does is it usually entices your opponent to either double switch or go for U-turn if they're in Scizor's case, or if there are Scizor in that case. And what Fire Fang can do is obviously hit that for some decent damage. Accelerock is also pretty cool because it can help versus Pokemon like Pheromosa. If they are weakened, Accelerock can pick them off from about, I think, 40%-ish, something around that range. But 4 attacks is one of the first Lycanroc sets. You can also put Crunch over Fire Fang if you want. I prefer Fire Fang on this set. I like being able to hit Ferrothorn, Scizor, and Skarmory for more accurate damage. Then, obviously, Stone Edge would do more damage. Well, Stone Edge would do a lot of damage to Skarmory, but Fire Fang hits, so it's just a lot of damage. Next up, we have the Choice Band set, which pretty much runs the exact same thing if you don't want a Life Orb. Another option is also Facade on this Pokemon, but Choice Band is just to abuse its raw power. Like, it's not a bad Pokemon, just based on stats alone. It's really strong. Again, you're looking at the stats right here: 329 attack and then 355 speed. I mentioned how 355 speed is actually really solid. Just a few Pokemon that you do outspeed with that. Thundurus. You can also hit it with Accelerock before it Thunder Waves you as well. Latios. Pokemon like Keldeo, though you don't hit it super hard. Choice Band Stone Edge after Rocks is sometimes a 2-hit KO on Keldeo, depending on damage rolls and a little bit of prior damage. You probably need a little bit of prior damage for that, but it just hits so hard, and the fact that it's just fast, Choice Band is pretty solid on it. You don't need Life Orb, but again, Crunch is also very viable on Lycanroc over Fire Fang. And again, Facade is pretty nice because if you get burnt, like you switch it in on a Will-O-Wisp or something, and your mon isn't useless because Facade does not care about the burn status. It'll just be doing the boosted Choice Band power. Obviously, it's not stab, but it's 140 base power when you're burnt, so it's pretty decent. And Accelerock is just nice because it can pick off Pokemon like, again, Thundurus before it can Thunder Wave you, and just weaken UBs, just to say a few things like that, because some of the UBs are actually pretty nasty. Pheromosa, for example. Why is that thing a mini Deoxys? But yeah, it's just a Choice Band version of the Life Orb set. Next up, we have Swords Dance. Now, I really love the Swords Dance set. I feel like this Pokemon can really pull it off. And typically, the only moves that I actually use on this Pokemon are Stone Edge and Accelerock. And then Fire Fang if I'm facing, again, Aegislash or Scizor. Now, Fire Fang I prefer on Swords Dance once again because, like I said, getting through Scizor is really cool. You do have to be careful about Scizor's Bullet Punch. It will be able to knock you out with a bit of prior damage or even close from full. It'll be really close from full, but if it's offensive, Scizor easily knocks you out. Or it's really close to it anyway. But again, Fire Fang helps you deal with that. It also hits Celesteela for damage. And when I say more accurate damage, I mean that Stone Edge is only 80% accurate. Yeah, it's just really strong attack, which is why on the Choice Band set it hits ridiculously hard. But if you're going to be using it on this set, use it when you need to use it. But again, another option is also Crunch. Crunch at +2 does so much damage with a Life Orb to Aegislash, as well as just being able to hit outside of Stone Edge, missing of course. And I still do love Accelerock on it because a boosted Accelerock will be able to knock out a weakened Pokemon like Tapu Koko, which obviously outspeeds you. Again, if you want to use good team members with this, Heatran, Tyranitar, Gigalith, just name a few for Sandstorm. And then on top of that, you're going to want some water answers. Toxapex is actually really, really solid with this Pokemon because it takes on whatever this Pokemon doesn't like. It doesn't even matter that this Pokemon is weak to ground. Toxapex is not going down to a ground move. But on top of that, the Tapus are really solid. Tapu Bulu is actually really solid for it. As it takes on the water attacks aimed at it, and it gets rid of pretty much everything. And Lycanroc actually helps get rid of the Pokemon that Tapu Bulu might fail to get rid of just because of Swords Dance boosted Stone Edges and Fire Fangs doing the most damage. But once again, you can also play around with Crunch and Sucker Punch. I prefer Fire Fang over Sucker Punch. I've tested a couple sets with Lycanroc. It was very fun. Tested a bunch of them with my boy It's Gator. You guys should go check him out, youtube.com/itsgator. But I found Fire Fang to be the most useful in this metagame. I just really, really love the ability to hit Aegislash and Scizor both in the same set. Whereas Crunch was obviously neutral, but it's not going to be doing too much. But like I said, good support is Sand. Hazards are very nice. Toxapex works so well. Toxapex is also very nice on Toxapex if you are running with this, just wearing down its checks, its answers, the faster Pokemon like that, and just being able to SD up. Typically, when you're going to want SD up with this mon, it's kind of hard, but for example, if you have Tapu Fini on your team, I believe it's Tapu Fini, or is it Tapu Lid? I'm about to look at it right now. It's Tapu Fini. Yes, it is Tapu Fini. If you have Tapu Fini on your team, I like to set it up in front of actually a weakened Toxapex, because if Tapu Fini's Misty surges up, then this Pokemon cannot burn you. Basically, Toxapex can't burn you with Scald, and it's not that strong. So if it's a weakened Toxapex, you can SD up in front of it. But like setting it up when you have Misty Surge on, or if you have Tapu Bulu on the team as well, and you're able to get up the Grassy Surge, this allows you to, one, heal up, or two, not care about status. So you can SD up in front of a few threats. But typically, you're just scaring out Pokemon that obviously don't want to take your attacks. Like, for example, that would be a weakened Pheromosa, which not wants to take a Accelerock. Maybe you can predict the switch. But on top of that, like, again, it's not a bad Pokemon at all. You don't necessarily need to set up in order for it to do damage, which is why 4 attacks, Life Orb, and Choice Band are both very viable. But I don't find myself clicking Sucker Punch as much as I do Stone Edge or Accelerock. So, again, you can very easily pack a Life Orb on that set. Next up, we have, just the other options. They're not necessarily a set, but they are other options that Lycanroc does have. Lycanroc does have access to Stealth Rock, but again, because it does pair well with such great Sand Rockers, and I say Sand Rockers because Tyranitar, Hippowdon, and Gigalith all get up sand very well. With the Spadef boost that Gigalith actually gets from its own Sand Stream, it can eat up any super effective hit, at least on the special side. Or in the physical side, watch out for Tapu Bulu and stuff like that. But pretty much all the mons that it pairs well with can get up rock, so that's why I said it's another option, but it's not necessarily one that you want on Lycanroc. Typically, you just want to attack. Taunt is also another option, maybe like a Taunt SD set, and you're setting up in front of a Skarmory, and the best thing you can do is Brave Bird or Whirlwind you out, then you can set up in front of that. Taunt also prevents opponents from defogging, and Toxic is also a very valid option. What Toxic does is allows you to hit fatter ground types, again, like opposing a Hippowdon, land or Steering Form. If they want to try and come in, get off that Intimidate, and stop you, Toxic will help you wear them down. And again, it does have options like Bulk Up, but when you look at its stats, I don't think it's enough. I really don't think it's enough. Base 75 HP, base 65 defense, base 65 special defense. I really don't think it's enough for Bulk Up. But And I was actually looking at potential Z moves it could have, but I think Crunch or Fire Fang is better. It doesn't unfortunately have like something like Earthquake, but a +2 Stone Edge is still doing a lot to things that Earthquake would hurt. But in any case, guys, that's all I have for you in this video. Feel free to leave some Lycanroc suggestions if you actually have them down below. Maybe like a VGC set you could use, like Quick Guard, Snarl. It has like a bunch of cool little options like that, but I couldn't really find much use for a Z move on it. If you don't want to miss, you can use Rock Slide, but Stone Edge, the power is just so strong, guys. The power of Stone Edge is just so strong. And again, Return Frustration is also decent, but Rock is just such a great stab, and the Pokemon that resist it, just use the partners for it. But in any case, guys, hope you all enjoyed. Feel free to follow me on Twitter as well as on Twitch, and you can subscribe down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye, friends.